So I've told a lot of stories on this channel of spoiled kids, but I think today we have the story of the most spoiled kid ever. Subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber who sent in this story, let's call him Arnold. So this all happened at a family reunion, and this was a 3-day long event. So on the first day, right, Arnold gets to the family reunion with his parents, and there's a ton of people at this thing. It's like it's like multiple branches of the family, and there is a one side of Arnold's family that he never really saw. It was like his cousin on his dad's side. They just like his dad and his brother didn't really talk that much, so he didn't really see them much besides like family reunions like this. So his cousin, right, was the most spoiled kid ever. And if you don't believe me, just sit around, stick tight, and you'll hear the story, and then you'll 100% agree with me by the end of this. So Arnold and his parents walk over to this kind of big field, and in this field there's a lot of people there, a lot of people from his family, and they're cooking up barbecues. They got all these tables set up. The first day is like an outdoor event, and they're all just kind of there. They're having like a big barbecue just to like talk to each other, see each other, kind of like get to know each other again, as a lot of people in the family don't really see each other because they live all over the place, but they all decided to come together just to kind of like a bit of a reunion that they have every 10 years or so. So anyways, right, Arnold and his parents, they walk over, and Arnold's mom is carrying some big plate of food or whatever, and she goes and sees like her aunt, and she's like, oh, where should I put this? And she's like, oh, put it on this table. And anyways, right, Arnold is kind of looking around, and he sees like a group of kids, because Arnold at this point, he's 14 years old, and most of the people here are like legit adults. They're like 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever, but there are some kids here, right? And he goes over and kind of like hangs out with the other kids that are there, and there's like some other people, but the main important person that you need to know who is there is Arnold's cousin, aka the most spoiled kid ever. We're just gonna call him the spoiled kid for the duration of this video. So anyways, right, they're all kind of like standing around talking. They're having very basic dialogue. I mean, like, they don't know each other that well. They're not going to be talking about the meaning of life or anything, but they're just kind of chilling. They're having a chill conversation. You know how it is. And for some reason, right, the spoiled kid decides that this conversation, talking about like Fortnite or whatever, is the perfect opportunity to talk about his dad and how much money his dad makes. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. The spoiled kid was legitimately like, oh, so like my dad just got a promotion yesterday to MD at Goldman Sachs, and he's going to be making $400K a year. But like all the other kids are like, okay, man, like, congrats, you really worked hard for that. Like, okay, nice, like, you're really grinding hard for your dad's promotion. Like, bet, I get it, like, whatever. But the thing is, right, the spoiled kid, Arnold's cousin, didn't even notice, or even if he did notice that people weren't really caring, he decided to willfully ignore it and was just like, yeah, so we're going to be going on even more trips, and I'm going to be able to get the new Yeezys. And Arnold's like, okay, nice. He's like, yeah, I bet you guys are a little jelly. And, they're all just like, I mean, like, that's cool, man. Like, I'm glad someone here's parents are winning, because Arnold's parents, they did fine, but they were very solidly like middle class, if not like lower middle class. Like, it is what it is, man. He had a good childhood. Like, I don't know. They supported him. They were loving parents. But yeah, no, his dad was not like a managing director at Goldman Sachs trading corn derivatives or anything like that, man. But anyways, Arnold immediately was like, all right, so I don't like my cousin that much, but maybe, just maybe, he'll find a way to redeem himself, and maybe he's just having a mental episode right now. Maybe that's why he's acting so spoiled. So eventually, right, it was a barbecue, but like most of the food wasn't ready by the time Arnold got there. So eventually, right, Arnold's uncle or aunt or whatever, right, they're like, all right, it's time to eat, guys. So all the kids run over, and, I don't know, Arnold gets in line. He picks up a hamburger. Like, it's some good food. Like, it's not like some, 5-star delicacy, but like he's enjoying it. It's good food. But he looks over at, his cousin, right? The spoiled kid. And sure enough, the spoiled kid looks at the food, looks around, and goes, bleh, bleh, bleh. And Arnold kind of looks at him like, are you fine? Like, are you feeling sick? He's like, I'm not feeling sick now, but like, if I eat this peasant food, I might be feeling sick soon. Arnold's like, dude, like, come on, it's actually pretty good. And he's like, I wouldn't want to put that filth in my body. I would just be like you guys. And Arnold is like, all right, this guy is a complete ass. Like, what the heck? Like, why is he my cousin, bro? Like, what is going on here? But anyways, right, the spoiled kid actually ends up turning to the family member that was like preparing the food and serving it to people and like making sure it stayed like nice and like whatever, right? She was she was behind there prepping the food, and the spoiled kid goes up to her and says, excuse me? And she's like, yes, I don't know, cousin name, spoiled kid, whatever his actual name was, right? Yes, spoiled kid, like, what's up? And he's like, do you by any chance, right? Do you happen to have any non-peasant food? And she was like, what? And he's like, I don't know. I just think my stomach can't handle such barbaric food like this. She's like, I mean, I could get you some lettuce. And he's like, it's fine. It's whatever. I'll just starve. So he just walks away. And Arnold is just looking at this kid like, bro, you can't be serious. Real quick, comment spoiled down below if you want to harden your comment. Secret word of the day is spoiled. Don't take it too personally if I don't get to harden your comment right away. I'm probably going to be pretty busy when I post this video. And also, if you want to support the channel like a lot, binge watch my videos. I got playlists in the description. And please, please let me know in the comments if you're doing that, if you're watching a ton of my videos in one sitting, so I can try and personally thank you for helping the channel so much. Anyways, back to the story. You guys might be thinking, all right, well, he seems like a pretty bratty kid, but is he really the most spoiled kid you've ever told on the channel? And let me just say that day 1 was nothing compared to day 2 and day 3. So let's skip ahead to day 2 of the family reunion. So anyways, right, this was not outside in the fields anymore. This was not like an outside barbecue. They were going to a restaurant for lunch. And look, they had to seat like a ton of people. They're not going to be banging out a ton of money for this. They just kind of went to I don't know, kind of more of a diner type restaurant, or not diner, kind of more of like a burger place, like a burger shack or something like that. It wasn't exactly fast food, but it was pretty adjacent to it. I would say similar to like In-N-Out if you've ever been there. But anyways, right, they all get in there and they sit down, and I don't know if your family did this, but my family always had like a kids table. All the adults would sit together, and then all the kids would be sitting at a table. And so anyways, right, Arnold and the other people there who didn't suck, and then his cousin, the spoiled kid who sucked big butt, right, they all sat at the same table. And they were looking at the menu, and, the spoiled kid was like, do you guys see any filet mignon? Do you see any, I don't know, beef Wellington? Do you guys see any, just listing off more super expensive, super fancy, 5-star gold-plated food and stuff? And Arnold looks at the kid and is like, bro, you do realize we're in a burger place. I don't know who told you that you're going to be able to get like a filet mignon or like a beef Wellington in a burger place. But let me just say that, you're not going to get it. And the spoiled kid's like, oh, well, I'll ask, buddy. I don't know, man. Whenever someone says buddy with a little bit of attitude, it always makes me so mad. So anyways, right, the waiter comes around and starts asking people for their orders. Arnold gets like, I don't know, their like signature burger, whatever, right? Kind of standard. And the spoiled kid is like, waiter, chop, chop. And the waiter's like, all right, man, I'm being paid like $8 an hour. Just shut up. But he doesn't say that. He comes over. He's like, yes. And the spoiled kid is like, so do you guys happen to, and I'm sure you do, it's so hilarious that I even have to ask this, do you guys happen to have any filet mignons in the back? And the waiter's like, no, sir, this is a Wendy's. No, but he's like, this is a burger place. Like, no, we don't have any of that. And Arnold's like, oh, how silly of you guys. Do you think the chef could maybe whip me one up? I'll pay extra. And then he takes out his dad's credit card, which apparently he's also on his dad's credit card. And he like taps it on the table. And the waiter, once again, is like, sir, this is a Wendy's. But no, he's like, I don't think we even have like any steak in the back. Like, I could get you like a plate of ground hamburger. And at this point, this spoiled kid's like, what? You guys don't have filet mignons? All right, well, do you guys happen to have any beef Wellingtons? And the waiter's like, sir, if we don't have filet mignons, "Why do you think we have beef Wellingtons? Sir, this is a burger place." And the spoiled kid is like, "Fine, I'll have your disgusting poor person burger." At this point, right, the waiter just gives him this dirty look. So anyways, right, eventually the food comes out and, the spoiled kid gets the burger. He kind of pokes at it a little bit and eventually does eat it because the burger is pretty good. But he's like complaining and like gagging the whole time, even though he eats the whole thing. So we think like, I don't know, the subscriber thinks that the gag, like all the gagging was just for show and he actually thought it was pretty good. But anyways, after dinner, right, they're walking down, kind of like this kind of like strip mall area, and there's a movie theater and there's a movie playing, and the spoiled kid turns to, I don't know, whatever adult was nearby and is like, "We should totally watch this movie. That would be so fun. I've heard such good things about the movie." And to be honest, Arnold was kind of down for that. Like the movie he did hear good things about it, and he does want to go watch it at some point. And he's like, okay, if I have to watch with the spoiled kid, at least spoiled kid wouldn't be able to say anything or do any nonsense during the movie, one would think. And the adult was like, "Hey, like we got some other stuff planned for today, but maybe later." And the spoiled kid is like, "Well, but I want to go see the movie." And the adult's like, "Well, I mean, I never said you couldn't ever go see the movie, man. Like, if you want to go see it later, that's fine." And the spoiled kid's like, "No, I want to go see it now." And Arnold's like, "Oh no, here we go again, bro." And so sure enough, right, the spoiled kid's like, "But why? Why can't I see it?" And the adult's like, "We have other stuff planned. Like, you can see it later, spoiled kid." It says his actual name, but like, whatever, right? And, he's like, but, and he starts tearing up, and the adult's like, like, "I don't know what else to say. Like, I didn't plan this event. Like, your aunt did. She's kind of orchestrated the whole thing. Like, I just don't want to go against what she says." And the spoiled kid's like, do I not deserve to see a movie that I want to see? Am I not good enough for it? And the person's like, no, I didn't say that. And at this point, like, Arnold is just like, "Bro, this kid sucks. This kid sucks. He super sucks." Let's just skip ahead to day 3, the final day, and the day where the spoiled kid just goes off the spoiled meter. So I think that day 2 was worse than day 1, but day 3 is worse than day 2 and day 1 combined. It is so bad. So you really got to strap in for this one. But anyways, right, sure enough, day 3 rolls around, and it's the final day. And they're back. They're actually at like the aunt's house. The aunt has a pretty big house with a very large backyard. So everyone's kind of either in the house or in the backyard, and there's like food stuff set up or whatever, and there's like events. And the parents thought it would be pretty fun if the kids would end off the day with a nice like game of hide and seek tag, because the yard was really large and they had all inside the house as well, and the parents just thought it'd be super fun to end off the day like that. So the parents decide that what they'll do is they'll all stand outside and they'll all like congregate out there so that they have free roam to hide in the house and to use a lot of the yard, the front yard and the backyard as well. So anyways, right, the aunt is like, "All right guys, come around, we're setting up a big hide and seek game." And so anyways, right, the aunt's like, "All right, does anyone want to be the seeker?" And no one was really raising their hand. And Arnold was like, "All right, well, I don't really care." So he raises his hand. He said, "I don't really care either way, but I don't mind being the seeker. And I know that we need one." So his aunt's like, "Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for volunteering." And so his aunt said, "All right, guys, here are the rules. You can hide anywhere, and if he sees you, you're not necessarily it until he tags you. But once you're tagged, you're also a seeker, and you're going to help Arnold find people." So it's mostly a hide and seek game, but it's also a tag game. It's a little bit of a mix. "All right, Arnold, I'd like you to count to 100 seconds. And Arnold's like, 100 seconds? That's kind of a long time. But whatever, like, I'll do what I have to do. So Arnold starts counting. He turns around and closes his eyes, right? So Arnold in his head is like, "All right, I want to find the spoiled kid and make sure that he does not win. I literally don't care about anything else at this point besides making sure that the spoiled kid loses this, because that kid sucks." Like, at the end of the day, that's all I care about right now, if I'm being honest, if I'm being 100% straight up with you guys. And so, yeah, he counts to 100 and he immediately tries to find people. And, anyways, he's looking around. He sees someone and he kind of ignores them. It's not obvious that he saw him, so it's not like a violation of like the integrity of being the seeker or whatever. But Arnold is really just looking for the spoiled kid at this time. So he looks in the front yard and he sees someone behind the bushes and he sees a pair of Yeezys and he's like, all right, I know exactly who this is. So he pretends like he doesn't see the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid is like being very, very quiet or whatever. And then all of a sudden, as Arnold gets closer to the bushes without making it seem like he knows the spoiled kid is there, he sprints super quickly and he goes in and he very clearly tags the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid runs off. And Arnold's like, all right, man, I got you. And he's like, no, you didn't. I dodged it. And Arnold's like, dude, I obviously got you. And the spoiled kid at this point had already ran away. And he's like, oh my God. So Arnold realized that he can't like tag him. He needs to basically slide tackle this guy to prove that he tagged him, right? Or he at least needs another person there to confirm it. So sure enough, right, Arnold goes around, finds someone else, tags them, and now this other person is now it with Arnold. So they both go around, and once again, Arnold sees a pair of Yeezys, and he looks at the other person who he already tagged and kind of gives them like the finger on his mouth, like the shh kind of motion to be quiet. So they both kind of like pretend like they're walking around looking for people as if they don't see the spoiled kid. And then once again, right, the other kid now runs up and tags the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid is like, you didn't get me, and runs right by him, but runs right into Arnold. Like, because the spoiled kid is so busy running away and pretending like he didn't get tagged by the other guy that he runs right into Arnold. And Arnold basically gives him like a bear hug. He's like, all right, man, I got you. And he's like, no, I used force field. And Arnold's like, bro, what? There's no force field. He's like, yeah, it's the rules. And then the other guy comes and tags him again. He's like, well, your force field was down then. I just tagged you. And he's like, no, you didn't. You didn't tag me. And this happened in the backyard. So all the parents start watching as the spoiled kid is like yelling. And the other two start like, so Arnold and the other guy are like, kind of like spam tagging him. They're like tag. The spoiled kid's like, no, you're missing. I'm dodging it. Don't you see? No one can prove it. And like the aunt is like, all right, spoiled kid, like it's pretty clear that you're it. It's actually pretty fun to be it. Go tag with them or whatever, spoiled kid. Go have fun. And he's like, no. He's just like, no, I'm not gonna be at their I'm not gonna be at their level. I'm not gonna be their level, aunt. I'm not gonna do it. And she's like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I'm not gonna be with the boars. And at this point, right, every single parent turns around and is like, what did this kid just say? Because they all knew he was kind of a jerk, but like, what? He's like, no, I will not drop to their level. They're a filthy, disgusting level. I will not be it. And the spoiled kid sprints away into the house, being like, you didn't get me. And at this point, right, the aunt is like, oh my God, like, this kid is terrible. And at this point, right, the spoiled kid's parents, they kind of know that their son's a bit of a jerk, but they're like, all right, this crossed the line. So the spoiled kid's dad, the same one that he was bragging about getting that raise at Goldman Sachs, walks into the house. And you hear, hi, Dad, ah! And then sure enough, right, the spoiled kid is like the dad comes out of the house and has the spoiled kid in his arms, like by the gruff of his shirt. And he's like, Dad, they were cheating. I don't want to be with the poors. And at this point, right, his dad is like, kind of like his dad like looks at the spoiled kid's mom and is like, hey, we got to go. And he's like, guys, and kind of like turns to everyone, guys, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. We got to leave early. We just remembered that we had something we had to go to. Yeah, sure, buddy. Totally not related to your son being insane or anything, but sure, go ahead. And so, yeah, the spoiled kid is dragged off by his parents into their, like, BMW, like, 200K car or whatever, right? And they drive off. And, like, the aunt is just in disbelief, and all the other parents are just standing around. And the thing is, right, there were some other kids that were still hiding, but they kind of came out of hiding and stopped playing the game when they heard the spoiled kid literally go insane. So the aunt, realizing how awkward of a situation it is right now, is like, all right, everyone, let's go out for ice cream. So sure enough, they all go out for ice cream, and Arnold decides to this time sit with his parents. And he's just like, so, did you see what happened today? And his mom looks at him, and she's like, Arnold, I am so proud that you're a good kid. Like, I always knew you're a good kid, but it's just really good to see how, like, it is good to have a little, I gained a little bit of perspective today. I saw how bad you truly, like, how bad a kid could be. Thank God you're not like that kid. And Arnold's like, yeah. Today we got a story time of the most spoiled kid of all time who tries to go famous on TikTok or go viral on TikTok for flexing all of his parents' money. And it works for a little bit, but eventually karma proves itself to be real and bites him in the butt. I know you'll enjoy this story, so press the like button right now to claim your free nothing. And with that all being said, let's just jump right into it. So yeah, the kid in the subscribers class, who we're going to call the spoiled kid, he's the spoiled kid because, bro, his parents got crazy bread. And I'm not just saying that, like, oh, if your parents have bread, then you're a spoiled kid. That is not what I'm saying at all. But bro really did believe that his parents' bread was his bread. Man had, like, the craziest amount of money at his disposal. Anyways, though, so the spoiled kid one day decides that he wants to start a TikTok account. He wants to become TikTok famous because, you know, at his school, this all was happening, like, as they were getting back from, like, the stuff that happened in 2020. So TikTok was, like, super popular and super big. And it was, like, low-key, like, people at school were thinking, oh, bro, if you're popular on TikTok, it would convert to actual popularity at the school. So anyways, right, the spoiled kid was just like, all right, I got to become TikTok popular. I got to become TikTok famous. I got to find a way to do it. So the spoiled kid's thinking to himself, okay, well, I don't necessarily have any discernible talents. Like, I'm not, you know, a great figure skater. I'm not really good at, you know, I don't know. I'm not that funny. I'm not that creative, whatever. However, I do know something that makes me different from other people. I bet you guys can guess what that is from the title of this video. So yeah, the spoiled kid, if you haven't guessed already, decided that he was going to flex the amount of money, well, not that he has, but his parents has, so he has access to. And yeah, he's going to post on TikTok and become TikTok famous that way. So anyways, this all started on what seemed like a normal day. The subscriber goes into school, he's chilling with his friends, and one of his friends just happens to be on TikTok, right? And he opens up the app, and one of the first couple videos in his recommended is a video that has like 25 likes. So TikTok will tend to recommend videos of your friends to you. So this is how this video was recommended. And so the subscriber's friend who's sitting there was just like, oh, wait a minute, like this looks really familiar. And, or at least this voice sounds really similar. And they're looking at the video. And what it is just like, it is a video of some kid holding a wad of money. And he's saying, like, he was saying something along the lines of like, oh yeah, look at me. I'm so rich, you're not. He was really trying to have that 2018 Lil Tay type persona where it's like, you just got to flex on everyone. And if you will become famous from being obnoxious, right? Kind of the publicity stunt type things. And so the subscriber says, wait a minute, let me look at that. And he takes a look at the video and he listens really closely. And he looks in the video, and because at this point they don't realize that it is the spoiled kid, because the name of the account is like richest boy ever, 724 billion, I don't know. But he looks in the video, and a little bit of the spoiled kid's backpack is showing in the video, like, because he's taking a video of him holding big wads of money, and it's like pointing at the wads of money, but it's also pointing at the ground, which a little bit of the backpack, and their school all had the same backpack, right? So at this point, right, he noticed that, okay, this is a backpack of someone who goes to our school, and it sounds just like the spoiled kid. It must be the spoiled kid. So anyways, they start looking at this account, and there's like 2 other videos, and one video is him flexing like his Supreme clothes or whatever. Supreme is a brand that costs a ton of money for no real good reason besides it's quote-unquote cool. A t-shirt could literally go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, the subscriber and his friends are like, oh, wait. The spoiled kid's trying to like become famous on TikTok from flexing his dad's money, right? And they look at the account a little bit more, and he has like 8 followers right now. And on one of the videos, like one of the videos has like 10 views, but the one that appeared in the subscribers' friends For You page had like 1,000 views or something. And one of the, and like there was a comment being like spoiled and like a thumbs down emoji or whatever. And so yeah, it didn't really seem like the spoiled kid was going to become that popular. 1 week later. Yeah, man, it only took 1 week for the spoiled kid to actually start becoming popular from this. So the spoiled kid decided to up it, because before, he showed videos of, Supreme clothes, a wad of cash. And while, like, not the average person will be buying, like, a $100 t-shirt, like, that's pretty stupid, right? But let's say you have $200 in a bank account. In theory, you could buy a Supreme t-shirt, right? And you would still have, like, even though you only had 200 total dollars, you could still make it look like that you casually dropped $100 on a t-shirt. And also, like, you could have like $50 in a bank account, but if you go to the bank account and say, I would like to withdraw all my money in $1 bills, you could, like, make a video of yourself flexing that you had all this money. However, though, it's a little bit of a different story when the spoiled kid made a video of his dad's car garage, because you can't really fake that. I mean, I guess you could go quote-unquote rent one, but basically what the spoiled kid does here is he goes into his dad's car garage, and he's like, hey, just another day in my garage, like, with all my cars. And, like, when I said the spoiled kid's, like, was mega loaded, I was not lying, guys. There's, like, a Lamborghini, there's, like, a Bugatti, there's, like, every type of exotic fancy car. So, yeah, the subscriber one day, about a week later, is sitting on his phone with his boys at recess. He opens up TikTok, and there's a video with 20,000 likes. And it is from the spoiled kid's account. And he's like, guys, look at this. So he shows all of them this, and they're like, oh my God. So the spoiled kid took a video in the same kind of like, this is what I have, you don't have it, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? But this time, instead of like showing off a Supreme shirt or a wad of money, which could have been really done by anyone, he shows off his dad's like crazy exotic car garage. So, yeah, it goes viral because that is definitely not something that you can fake, or it's at least really difficult to replicate / fake. I mean, this is at the car garage. If you wanted to replicate this, you'd need to rent all those things for the entire day, and then just also have a garage this size. Like, you're not just gonna like have one car and then have a car garage worth like with like 15 slots in it. So this was like pretty clearly legit. So this video actually goes viral. So there's a decent amount of backlash, but also a lot of people start following the spoiled kid because they're just interested in this kid's life. Sure, he's being a bit of a jerk about it, but at the same time, I think it's almost like a bit of, I guess, morbid curiosity. Probably the wrong word, but you guys get what I mean. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, the spoiled kid, his account has 7,000 followers, which the only other person at their school who has anything near that is this girl who's like the popular girl who was like 2,000 followers because she had like one video blow up or whatever. And she was like, okay, so she was popular before this, but she actually became more popular after the fact because like, people were like, oh my God, like, oh, you have 2,000 followers on TikTok, like, can I be your friend? Like, could you give me a shout out, bro? Like, it was legitimately, people were like straight up being like, you're more popular because you have followers. So at this point, people don't really know that the spoiled kid is running this account. However, like 10 minutes later, the spoiled kid, like the subscriber watches as they see the spoiled kid walking around to people, taking out his phone, pointing at it, and then they go, like, they have a surprised reaction and they talk a little bit. So the subscriber doesn't really know what the spoiled kid's doing, but eventually the spoiled kid comes over to the subscriber and his friends. And the spoiled kid's like, hey guys, like, did you know I have a TikTok account? And this, the subscriber's like, oh yeah, actually I do. And the spoiled kid was a little taken aback because I guess the subscriber's friend and the subscriber were really the only two people who knew about the kid's account before it blew up and went mega famous. Also, let me just clarify when I say blow up / mega famous. I guess I don't really mean like Charlie D'Amelio mega famous. I mean like 7,000 followers, which, look, for this school, that was a crazy thing. And I remember back when I was doing YouTube in like 2017, when I got 4,000 subscribers total, I was like, wow, I'm actually that guy. I genuinely believe that, man. And look, it's all relative. But anyways, at the school, yeah, he was going around and he was talking to people and he was telling people that he is now TikTok famous. So the spoiled kid's like, so what do you guys think? Like, pretty cool, right? The subscriber's like, yeah, like, I guess. And the subscriber says something that's like completely foreshadowed the future events. He said, hey, is your dad or your parents cool with you doing this? Because the thing is, the spoiled kid was okay. So maybe he did have the Supreme shirt that was his, quote unquote, and maybe that money was his. I mean, it was just given to him by his parents. But when the spoiled kid went and like showed off that car garage, I mean, genuinely though, he was actually like, that's actually like low-key a security risk. I mean, that car garage is like, if people looked at it, that was like multiple millions of dollars. Like, if they were able to find this kid's address or whatever, and they were able to go to the car garage and rob it, either way, even if it wasn't like a very, even if the threat was kind of like unlikely, I still can almost guarantee that the spoiled kid's parents would not have been so happy about it. And the spoiled kid's like, well, no, but I'm sure they're going to be fine when I'm super famous and make more money than them because I'm so famous. Which, guys, by the way, if you're famous on TikTok, you really don't make that much money, bro. Like, you don't make money, anything off of there. But anyways, right? So the subscriber's like, oh, okay, so they don't know about it. He's like, well, they're going to know when I'm so famous that they literally can't know. And the subscriber's like, okay, dude, like, do what you want. So the subscriber's not going to lie, the idea of being TikTok famous didn't sound like the worst to him. Like, he's definitely thought about before posting like Roblox or like Fortnite clips on there, but he never really got around to it. However, when it comes to being like TikTok famous, it really matters like, okay, what are you famous for? And the spoiled kid is known for being a jerk. Like, that is literally all he's known for, dude. So yeah, the subscriber isn't really jealous at this point. However, something really interesting happens. So sure enough, the popularity, like the TikTok popularity myth was not a myth at all. It was super true. The spoiled kid actually started to become popular around the school. So he wasn't really popular before. And remember, like 7th or 8th grade popularity is kind of like, okay, man, that's not going to really decide how well you do in life. But anyways, right, so sure enough, the truth was that everyone was so interested in TikTok at that time that, you know, even though the spoiled kid was kind of looked at as a jerk before and no one really wanted to hang out with him, as soon as his account started blowing up, every single person wanted to hang out with him. Kind of a sign of popularity at the subscriber school was how many people are sitting at your lunch table. I know that sounds super juvenile, but they're literally juveniles, so it makes sense, man. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscriber notices that the next following days, the spoiled kid's lunch table doubles every single day. And like it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and everyone wants to talk to him because he's posting more and more stuff. The next video he posts is like a video of his house, which is, look, if his dad has a Bugatti in the garage, he's probably gonna have a pretty sick house too. So yeah, this would just continue until one day it all changed. Real quick, if you made it as far into the video, comment spoiled down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. And if you don't know, we are also on Spotify, so make sure to follow us on Spotify. Link is in the pinned comment down below. And I want to let you guys know something. We're going to have a little challenge going into summer. So right now it is March, and we're going to say summer starts in June, right? June will be the first month of summer. So we're going to have a challenge. It's going to be kind of unofficial, but basically we're going to try and see who can watch the most videos before summer. So the challenge is to binge watch as many videos, and every single day that you binge watch videos, make sure to go ahead in the comment section down below and say, I watched this number of videos. So today, go ahead and comment down below, I watched X number of videos, or maybe by the end of the day, comment the total number of videos you watched or how many story videos you watched. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So yeah, sure enough, right, the spoiled kid comes into school one day. And things are a little bit different. So he looks like really nervous. He looks sad. He looks shaken up. And no one can totally tell why. No one is totally sure like what's going on. Because like literally the day before, the spoiled kid was top dog. Like everyone wanted to be friends with the spoiled kid. Everyone wanted to hang out with the spoiled kid. Like why would the spoiled kid not be super happy right now? It just made no sense, right? So sure enough, people did like, they went up to the spoiled kid. They were still treating him like royalty, basically. They were like, what's up, dude? How you doing today? And the spoiled kid's like, haha, pretty good. And the subscriber and his friends were just like, something's up with this guy. So they go to the spoiled kid's account because they're thinking, oh, did he like post a video and it flopped or whatever? Like, is that the problem here? So they go to his channel and they look for his TikTok account and they're like looking for it. And the subscriber's like, dude, I can't find it. And they're like, oh, well, like I sent you a link of his TikTok, right? Because they must have, like, the first TikTok they sent, the subscriber said, hey, man, can you send that to me over iMessage? So they had a link to one of his TikTok videos. So the subscriber goes to his iMessage account, checks the link, clicks on the link, brings it over to TikTok, and it says this video is like this video is no longer around because the channel or the TikTok account was deleted. So the subscriber turns to his friend and is like, oh my God, do you see this? And his friend's like, wait, like what? And he looks at it and yeah, sure enough, the TikTok account, it's gone. Like it's been deleted. So the subscriber and his friend walk over to the big table where all the people are sitting with the spoiled kid. And the subscriber's like, hey man, like, how's the TikTok going? And the spoiled kid's like, it's going pretty good actually. And the subscriber's like, oh, like, I can't find your videos. Like, well, what's up with that? And spoiled kid's like, it's probably because I blocked you. Because you're such a hater and you don't get it, right, guys? And he like turns to everyone else there, and they're all like, yeah, man, such a hater. And the subscriber's like, By the way, the subscriber knows for a fact that he was not blocked. It literally said this account that is associated with the video has been deleted, right? So he like turns to like one of the people at the table and says, oh, well then, can you look up his account for me? And so the person at the table tries looking up the spoiled kid's account. And he's like, oh, man, I can't find it either. And the spoiled kid starts to panic. He's like, I blocked you too. I just knew you were a hater. Right, guys? And everyone else at the table is like, yeah, get out of here, man. And the guy's like, but dude, like, I didn't do anything. And the spoiled kid's like, I blocked you either way. And the subscriber knows what's up. He's like, hey, I want everyone to go on their phone right now and try and find the spoiled kid's account. So everyone takes out their phone. The spoiled kid's like, no, I'm going to block everyone who tries to do it. And it's too late, though, because people are starting to realize, like, wait a minute, none of us can find his account. So anyways, right, one of the girls at the table is like, wait a minute, like, I sent his account to one of my friends, like, I can just click on that link. And the spoiled kid's like, no, don't do that. She clicks on the link. She's like, your account was banned. And the spoiled kid's like, well, I'm still the same guy. Like, you should all still hang out with me, right? And, like, after everyone realizes his account was banned, like, legitimately everyone at the table gets up and walks somewhere else, which is kind of sad, but also, like, bro, if your friendship with people is based off the fact that they have X number of followers on TikTok or who even knows, like, that's obviously not a really great friendship. So this is basically what happened, right? So the spoiled kids videos were doing really, really well. Like, they were reaching a lot of people. However, they were reaching so many people that they ended up reaching the one person the spoiled kid wished that they would never reach, his dad. So I guess one of the kids at school is like their parent is friends with the spoiled kid's dad. So one of the kids at school must have sent their parent like, oh my God, look, the spoiled kid is super famous now or whatever, and showed their parent like a video that the spoiled kid posted, which the spoiled kid's videos are all just videos of, you know, his dad's stuff. And then his dad must have seen this and absolutely flipped out on the spoiled kid and demanded him, you know, delete the account or he was going to be grounded or probably more likely lose access to the credit card. Yeah, so I guess the spoiled kid cared more about getting his Supreme t-shirts than having the account. I think his account was going to be taken down by his dad one way or another, and he kind of knew it. So yeah, the spoiled kid manually deleted his account at his dad's commands, and I think he was going into school hoping that people would just forget to check in, like, ever look at his account ever again, and he would just remain super popular because of the account he used to have. But yeah, that's the story of the spoiled kid who tried to flex his dad's money for popularity, and it blew up in his face. If you want to support the channel, click on another video on screen right now if you're listening on Spotify. This is another one of those stories where I just feel like I have a moral obligation to remind you guys that there is cringe incoming. There is a large amount of cringe, and if you're susceptible to cringe, just be aware. And I want to make sure that everyone is strapped in and prepared and subscribed if they're new. And let's call today's subscriber who submitted this story, quite a story we got, let's call him Sam. So this happened when Sam, the subscriber, was in 8th grade, and this happened around 2017, 2018, and this is when the whole wave of SoundCloud rappers really just blew up, and it was super mainstream and super popular. And basically, there was always, like, at least one kid in your grade who, like, had a SoundCloud rapper face where he thought that since he mumbled over a beat that he was going to become the next Lil Sam. I don't know, man. Sam never had that phase himself, but you know what I mean. Like, it'd just be little insert adjective, and bam, he would have millions of dollars, all the women ever, definitely not a bunch of rented out cars or anything. But this all happened to Sam as well, because one day he was in class. And in this class, there was this kid who was kind of known as the spoiled kid because his parents made a lot of money. And remember, I don't care if your parents make $1 or 100,000 trillion dollars. Well, actually, if they do, hit them up. Tell them that they can always give me some money. It's all good. I'm an open invitation. But anyways, I don't really care as long as you act like a normal, decent human being. I think that's fair enough, right? But this kid, really, it just went to his head. And just the fact that his parents made money, the fact that he hit the genetic lottery kind of went to his head. Wow, probability will eventually favor you. Like, congrats, dude. Nice. But anyways, this kid was kind of a jerk from the start. But after this day in class, he was kind of known as the jerk, right? And because sure enough, one day, Sam is in a history class, right? And he comes in and he is the class with the spoiled kid. And we're just going to call him the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid walks in with a little bit more pomp and swagger in his step today. He's just a little bit more arrogant than he normally is. And, Sam just wasn't totally sure why, but he didn't think anything of it. Maybe his dad got a raise and they're getting their 3rd swimming pool and their 17th mega mansion. I don't really know what's going on, but sure enough, right now, Sam walks in. And Sam's just trying to mind his own business, and this kid comes up to him and is like, "Sup, Sam?" And Sam's like, "Sup, dude?" Remember, Sam and the spoiled kid don't really talk to each other. They're not really friends. Obviously, they know of each other's existence because Sam's in kind of a smaller school, but Sam just doesn't know who this kid is. He's not friends with him. And he just comes up to him, and like maybe Sam is thinking, oh, maybe he's trying to become friends or something. Doesn't really matter. But the next thing that the kid said, he's like, "Dude, I'm freaking blowing up on SoundCloud right now. Bro, Lil Pump? He's going to be old news when it's coming to me." And Sam's like, well, what's your username? Like, what's your, your SoundCloud rapper handle or whatever? And the spoiled kid, brace yourself. The spoiled kid said that his name was, the spoiled kid said that his super hardcore gangster rapper name was Baby Big Money Little Dog. Is this some, like, ABC balloon, like, is this some kind of, like, is this some Coco Melon type beat? Like, what? Are you serious? You expect to have any kind of quote-unquote street, I mean, you're a SoundCloud rapper, let's be real, but imagine being like, yeah, this is my boy, Baby Big dude, I can't even say it with a straight face anymore. Let's just call him Spoiled Kid. I'm not even going to refer to him by his SoundCloud rapper name. And I think his handle was different or something because the subscriber felt confident telling me that without thinking it would leak any information. I think like he deleted his page and wiped himself off the internet because he was so embarrassed. But anyways, right? So Sam is trying to hold his composure because this random, like, spoiled kid just said, yeah, man, I'm blown up on SoundCloud. My name is Baby Big Money Little Dog. Dude, I can't even say that. I can't even say that with a straight face. God. So anyways, Sam's like, well, what's going on? And he was like, dude, I just got 500. And Sam's like, 500,000 in his head. And then the kid's like, streams. I just got 500 plays on my recent song. And Sam, loads up, is like, okay, like loads up his SoundCloud profile. He's in class, so he's kind of risking it right now, but he loads up the SoundCloud profile. And it is the most garage band, terrible mic pop. Okay, I can't really complain about mic pops. I don't even use a mic. I just use my phone to record these videos. But anyways, I'm not trying to produce music, right? It is probably the worst song. It is like Lil Pump if it was like discount Lil Pump. Consider that. And, that was probably the hardest try not to laugh challenge Sam has ever entertained himself with because he was in class and he didn't want to get called out to the principal's office or just like, I don't know, got a bad participation mark that day or something. And, the spoiled kid is not noticing that Sam is trying not to just like burst into laughter, tears, I don't know, shivering. I don't even know what reaction you'd have to that kind of music at that point. And, the kid's like, dude, I think I'm just going to drop out of school. And Sam looks at him again. He's like, God, you're testing me today, man. You're testing me today, dude. And he's like, yeah, man, I think I'm going to go to Hollywood because it'd be great for networking. And it just like, I think it's time for me to drop out and pursue my passion. I mean, I'm literally blowing up right now. I mean, 500 people have streamed my song. And the spoiled kid refreshed the page. Is like, dude, it's literally 501. It's blowing up. And Sam pointed out, like, dude, I just listened to it. That's probably, he's like, doesn't matter, man. I'm still blowing up. I'm going to be so big and huge. Don't take that out of context. I'm going to be so massive. And I feel bad for you guys. Like, if you're, like, really true supporters of me, I will consider allowing you to have backstage passes. And Sam is just like, oh my God, this kid is, like, unironically delusional. But anyways, right, it doesn't end there. It gets more cringe, and in fact, it gets even more, like, it becomes so bad that it will be difficult for me to physically read it. It is that unfortunate amount of cringe. So you guys do need to strap up. But real quick, comment spoiled down below, as that is the secret word of the day. And if you want to support us and support the channel, help us get to 600,000, binge watch some videos, and then comment down below if you do. I'll slap a heart in your comment and say thank you. And then, sure enough, right, the kid goes on, the spoiled kid, because remember, Sam, the spoiled kid, are all in this history class, and they got a professor who is, he's happy with what he's doing, man. He feels, teaching is fulfilling. Yeah, he's not being paid a crazy amount, but he's happy, man. He's happy with what he's doing, and that's really all that matters. But the spoiled kid doesn't see that, and the spoiled kid, at the very, kind of not the very end of class, but the last 5 minutes of class, so yeah, the very end of class, but not when the bell's rung and they're leaving. The spoiled kid raises his hand, and the teacher didn't really ask a question, so he just thought the spoiled kid had a question. So he's like, yeah, spoiled kid, like, what's up? And the spoiled kid's like, I just think it's time for me to make an announcement. I have finalized my decision. And the teacher's like, does this have anything to do with U.S. history? He's like, no, it's far more important. And the teacher's like, I would really prefer it if you stuck to U.S. history. Cut off mid-sentence. He's like, peasants around. Okay, he didn't say but he's like, it's so sad to look down at all of you guys. It's so sad because I know that you guys are probably going to live lives like this guy. And he just points to the teacher, which, like, bro, chill, dude. But anyways, he's like, oh, it's so sad. And everyone's kind of like, dude, what are you talking about? What kind of egomaniac trip are you on right now? And sure enough, right, the kid goes on to say, if you guys don't know, I'm blowing up on SoundCloud, and I'm about to be rich, famous, and surrounded by babes. Oh, yeah. And everyone's just so shocked and confused right now. They just have legitimately no idea of what's going on. They just have they're just not able to, like, perceive the nonsense that is kind of, like, penetrating their skulls right now. It's just they just can't figure out what's going on. And understandably, I mean, I think I'd be a little confused as well. And he's like, I have an announcement. And he stands up now because he's been kind of preaching from his chair. Now he stands up. He's like, I will be going to Hollywood tomorrow. And you guys will watch as I blow up. And if you guys are nice to me, and in fact, you do exactly what I say, then maybe when I'm famous and I'm on stage, I will give you backstage passes, which I know for whatever profession you guys will go into, you wouldn't be able to afford normally. And at this point, right, Sam is sitting there just like, did this kid just, like, get a piano dropped on his head and no one noticed? Because this is not the words of a sane, normal man, right? These are not the words of a normal person. God damn, like, what? What happened, man? And sure enough, right, the teacher is just, what's the teacher supposed to say here? Like, okay. So at this point, right, the spoiled kid has been going on a maniac ego trip for the last 5 minutes. And then the bell rings. He's like, guys, this might be the last time that you see me before I see you from a different angle. That angle being I'm on stage performing with all the babes and all the money, and you're in the crowd, the very, very back row seats, because you guys are probably not grateful enough for me to give you front row passes. You'll be in the very the very, very back. You will actually probably be so far out that you didn't even get tickets, and you're just trying to leech off of me. You're trying to freeload, and you're standing in a big pile of mud, rolling around like a bunch of little piggies. And at this point, right, Sam's like, oh my God, this kid has gone off his rocker. Oh my God. And the kid stands up. He's like, good day, everyone. And he walks away. And everyone, like, the bell is rung, so people normally, get up their stuff and they walk out and they thank the teacher. Everyone's sitting down. No one gets up. Even the teacher, like, who is standing, proceeds to go and sit down and just thinks. And then the teacher's like, well, class, because the teacher needs to break the silence. Like, the bell rung, guys. You're allowed to go. Like, that's fine. You're allowed to go. And he's like, we'll discuss. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with whatever just happened. I'll deal with that. Don't worry about it. So sure enough, right, as soon as everyone gets up, it is a buzz of chatter because everyone's talking like, oh my God, like, this kid's blowing up? I haven't heard anything about that. And that's when Sam, because the spoiled kid had apparently only told Sam because I don't know, maybe he just chose someone randomly to like test out his act on or whatever. And Sam is like, starts hearing these conversations and he interjects. He's like, the spoiled kid told me about it during class. And sure enough, right, Sam pulls up his SoundCloud profile and he shows that his recent and his only song, by the way, has 501 plays, which means ever since like Sam watched it, no one else watched it. He's not blowing up. And someone's like, wait, is this kid's name Baby Big Money Little what? And everyone is like, all right, let's start streaming it. So everyone starts listening. And probably at this point, Sam was getting or the spoiled kid was getting an even bigger ego boost because he just got 10 streams, bro. He's blowing up. And sure enough, the next day rolls around and you know who isn't there? The spoiled kid. He's not there. And Sam is like on his Instagram account and he follows the spoiled kid on Instagram because you just follow people that you know. And he sees that the spoiled kid has changed his profile to like a creator profile and it says artist. And his caption is literally like his profile says like blowing up, see you in Hollywood. And on his story, he sees like Sam sees the ring around the profile photo. So he clicks on it and that means that there's like a story on Instagram, which you should follow my Instagram. It's in the description and submit stories there. I'm making an email. I'm just being lazy. I'm sorry. Kind of busy. Anyways, though, he clicks on the story and he sees that the spoiled kid is looking up flights to LA on his computer. So he's just skipped class and he skipped school and he's like looking at like flights to LA on Google, and he's putting that on his story. And at this point, like, Sam was like, all right, he's either, like, lying, which, spoiler, he may or may not have been doing, or he's actually getting flights, and he's gonna go. So Sam, like, starts, like, showing this to other kids, and other kids follow him, too. And then one kid says to the teacher, I think the guy, because, like, teacher was taking attendance, he's like, oh, spoiled kid isn't here. And someone's like, I think he's going to LA. I think he's getting flights now. And the teacher's like, well, is he really, like, blowing up? Is he actually, like, obviously, he's being a big jerk yesterday, but is he actually blowing up? And someone just responds, no, he's not. He's not at all. The teacher's like, oh, well, that's going to be embarrassing tomorrow when his parents, get a call from the principal that he skipped school today and that he's forced to come in. Make sure to be not too cruel to him. And then the teacher kind of looks at them and is like, well, I mean, a little bit of cruelty might be deserved and might be good for him, but not too cruel, guys, and kind of gives a smile. And sure enough, the next day rolls around. And you know who shows up in class? The spoiled kid. And the thing is, right, the spoiled kid is like, as soon as anyone walks in, he turns at them, looks at them, and is like, the life of music, it was such a cool, fast life. It was just too much for me, man. Like, I'm not going for materialistic things. Women, music, money, crowds, fame. It's just not for me, man. I just kind of came to a revelation. Like, even though I was totally blowing up, I think I'm going to retire from the music game. And everyone looks at him. It's like, all right, buddy. And the thing is, right, this kid really did come for the teacher's life. Really said that, like, you're going to end up like him. And pointed right at the teacher, which is, that's pretty disrespectful, man. So sure enough, the teacher, when he comes in,